Hello, I'm Andy. I'm on the land school staff, and as you know, we could not do the farm stay parent orientation video today. As a replacement, I'm going to go over some of the topics that we would have gone over. You can watch the video, and then you will get a chance to talk to your child's mentor during the upcoming weekend. If there's questions that come up, you can ask them of your mentor when you get a chance to talk to them. I will go over as much as I can about the farm stay, and it's going to start with just a philosophical overview of what the farm stay is and why it's there. I'm going to talk about community life. We'll go over some of the agreements. We'll talk technology. We'll talk about the packing list, food considerations, how to communicate with us and with your child, your young adult actually. A little bit about weekends, talk about the schedule and some of the classes that are different at the land school than at the urban campus. And then I'll say a little bit about directions and transportation. Yes. So usually we start the parent orientation meeting with a round of introductions. So introduce yourselves to each other, and if you're by yourself, just introduce yourself to the computer. My name's Andy. I work for Lake Country School, and I have been with Lake Country at the land school on and off since 2000. And there's Jen, who is the program coordinator, and she is in a similar position. She's been with the land school on and off since 2000. There's Shannon. She's new this year, and she is the residential coordinator and all-around awesome human being. And then there's Callie, who is in her second year, who is the kitchen manager and also will be leading an occupation. Okay, so let's talk, why do we have a land school? Why do we have a farm stay? What is this thing? Montessori talked about the adolescent as an heired kinder, the child of the soil. It's German. I'm not sure why she used German. She's Italian. But at that time, I guess, it was all about German, kindergarten. One of the things you have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. So Montessori is looking at observing humans and noticing that humans teach themselves. We get to be an aid to them teaching themselves rather than teaching them. And if you take that point of view and we're an aid to them teaching themselves, how do humans teach themselves? It's through interaction with their environment. And then you have to say, well, what is the best environment for humans to teach themselves in, and how can we create that? Montessori looked at each age and said that as you grow up, you need different environments. So she divided youth into the planes of development. So you have the 0 to 6, and that children's house for the 3 to 6 year level is where you would need a child-sized kitchen and a child-sized chair, and then you have all these sensorial materials, and they interact with the materials with their hands, and they construct themselves. 6 to 12, you think about, this is the age of curiosity, where the child acquires the universe through this asking why, when, how, and you need an environment that helps them answer those questions. So this is what you call cosmic education. But what is the task of the adolescent? So Montessori said adolescent's task is to become an adult. And you do that by entering into the social world of adults. You become a community member. And how do you become a community member? Is you have an environment that gives you a chance to become a contributing community member in a real way. Montessori said that what we need to do is think of a practice community and a place where where people can be involved in the fundamental mechanism of society, which she said was production and exchange. And so she suggested that they leave their families, go out to a farm, and live in one of these communities where they can make a contribution on a daily basis. Now, this is very different from what traditional education was then and is now. And really, the purpose of traditional education is about getting the information necessary for a person to function as an adult into their heads. And Montessori's point of view is all that information will come if they have a context for it. And so you get a chance to have a place where the information makes sense. The big questions of adolescence are, who am I? How do I fit in? That's 2. And what's my great work? If you could answer those questions, you're well on your way to becoming an adult. Now, who am I? That question gets answered through self-expression. And adolescents are gifted with an ability to express themselves, with creativity, with a desire to bring themselves into being through self-expression. And that creative expression is fostered at the Land School, and we'll talk about that later. But that's very important. That's how you discover who you are, is by becoming yourself in many different ways and by creating yourself. How do I fit in? It's not, Montessori said that adolescents need a school in the elements of social life. And the elements of social life are not sitting on a couch with your friends or, I don't know, going to a movie or something. For Montessori, she said that the elements of social life are to be a member in a community and make a difference. And how do you have a school in those elements? Well, you need a place where you can fit in, a place where what you do makes a difference. And there's feedback within the community. And so we set up the Land School for that sort of experience of, you have your daily care of the environment, you have the daily care of the animals, you have the cook crew and the cleanup that you do from that. You also have an occupation on the farm, a job where your head and your hand is engaged in making the world a better place. And our goal then is to have a place where you can take on many different roles. And through those taking on of roles, you can feel like you're a contributing member. And when that happens, then you can see that in your community when you go back, and when you become an adult, you have this experience of being a community member. And then the last question, what is my great work? We all want to know that. But you discover your great work when you have the combination of your creative self through self-expression and then trying to fit in to a community and making contributions. And when you have that intersection and something rings true to you and you feel like, wow, this is me, I want to do more of that. And you can only discover what your great work is through participating, through doing things. It's like you don't even know if you're going to be an author until you try writing, or you don't even know if you want to be a farmer until you get your hands dirty. So you need practical experience with a purpose to discover yourself. Montessori, taking a bigger step back, Montessori's vision for world peace is that we don't even know what our future humans look like until we have environments that meet their needs at each level, at each age, at each plane of development. And the key point here is adolescence is the undiscovered territory. And so what we get to do at the Land School is be part of revealing this new adult. And what we've seen is the new adult is focused on justice, feels righteous about what's going on in the world, and then uses their creativity to solve problems. I love it. So let's see. The next thing we're going to talk about is community life. So like how do we have this community where people make a difference? We have community meetings where everybody is encouraged to speak their mind. We have structures that allow for people to be able to say things that are important to them. We have chances for leadership and followership within the community meetings. We have a morning pages where you get to write and then discuss about a current issue or a quote or something. We have roles where people take on where they're like learning about the headlines or the weather or other things like that. We give young people communication tools, active listening. We do rituals around meals. We have group challenges. We have group work, community work that needs to be done. In this case, it'll be like animal care and maple syruping or splitting wood or things like that. And so there's that. And then, of course, we're going to host an event. Actually, we're going to host a couple big events. One being the pancake brunch, pancake breakfast. The students will take on the planning of that, what's going to be offered, how they're going to do it, who's going to do what. This division of labor is one of these aspects of community life. And then another event that they're going to host is when their mentees from E1 visit the land school. And they're going to plan that whole day and carry it out. Sometimes we even pretend we have laryngitis and let them like say everything. And then, of course, community life happens in free time, where they negotiate with each other, like who's leading, who's following, how you're going to have fun, how you're going to get the work done. So as you get ready for this event, a lot of the times the free time gets around like, oh, we want to do this and this and this, and can you help me with this and that? We can also think about the students not only being part of their little community, but also being part of a greater community that includes the staff, us, the staff's families who come in, and then guests who come. So like our goal is for there to be an adult community that they are forming and part of, and that they get to be young adults and not seen as children so much as participating members in a functional community. Next step, agreements. There was, and there should be a form that's sent home to each family, which are the agreements of the farm stay. And this is one that you get to read and that both you and your young person get to